Well, for more of what's happening at the Summit of the Americas, I'm joined by Lisa Haugaard. She's the Executive Director of the Latin American Working Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, Lisa, what are the goals of this year's summit and what are the expectations?
Well, the goals are actually very important. It's dealing with the rampant corruption that is affecting Latin America, and this is something that affects people's daily lives and their human rights, and as well as the development of the region. And they might come up with a statement and commitment to this, but we don't really know what they're going to do.
And you mentioned about this year's central theme at the Summit of the Americas. It's democratic governance against corruption. Now, given the political uncertainty that often accompanies a lot of this corruption, how damaging is it to the region's economic growth?
It really helps. It really does have a tremendously damaging impact on the regional development. And it hurts people where they live. It hurts their ability to get social services from their governments. It hurts their ability to run their businesses, and it hurts their ability to have the kinds of governments they deserve.
Now, something that we've seen drawing a lot of headlines, some of these notable absences, U.S. President Donald Trump and, of course, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. How significant is it to the trade picture overall to have these two leaders missing?
Well, it makes it very difficult to really advance on a trade agenda. There's so many different agendas on trade going on right now that I couldn't expect that anything significant in terms of trade will come out of this summit.
Now, it's interesting because Maduro said he was interested in attending the so-called People's Summit. Now, that's going on at the same time and is kind of being billed as an alternative to the Summit of the Americas. How likely are we to see more countries and more leaders backing away from the Summit of the Americas?
I expect that after this unusual year, there will be a return, but it's just a very difficult moment right now with Mr. Trump, with the topic being corruption and that affecting so many governments, but I think they'll return to the framework.
Now, we know that China is one of the key trading partners for the region, and it has stressed that it really doesn't want the Latin American region to get dragged into the trade tensions that it's having with the U.S. So, in terms of how exposed the region is if these tit-for-tat tariffs continue, what's your take on that?
It really could be damaging to the region. And it's very unpredictable right now with the U.S. position on trade changing every 10 minutes. But I think that Latin American governments are going to go their own ways and try to forge the best trade relations they can have with whichever countries work for them.
And are there certain countries that are perhaps more exposed or have more at risk if the tensions continue?
I think it really can affect the United States.
And let's also look at the elections that we're seeing this year and also some of the leadership changes. Which ones should we be keeping an eye on?
There are changes all over the continent. One that I am focusing on is the question of Colombia, and will the next government continue to support the peace accords that have helped to begin to end a 50-year war in which 260,000 people have died.
And we also know there's going to be a leadership change in Cuba as well. Any sort of potential economic impact that we should be looking for there, or perhaps any change of direction?
Well, we definitely have to look to see if the new government in Cuba, which will not be a tremendous change, but will it go in the direction of loosening up the economy?
And in terms of the goals that the Summit of the Americas wants to target, what are some of the key trade partners hoping to see from this, do you think?
I don't really know what they're looking for right now.
Well, certainly a lot of things in flux given the elections and obviously a lot of the absences as well. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Lisa Haugaard, Executive Director at the Latin American Working Group.